recorded in the Rugby Clubhouse at Johnny's Tavern in Lawrence, Kansas. This is the Jayhawk Rugby Rundown. You all are very welcome to the latest episode of the Jayhawk Rugby Rundown. I've got two awesome guests again with me. First of all, on my left, I always want to call you Harry because Jason started calling me Harry.
Because he couldn't get my name right.
It's Henry. It's not like it's a complicated name.
No.
It's just that awesome mane of hair. Harry Staples.
No.
Henry Staples.
Henry Staples.
And Andrew, I got to ask you.
It's Bartosz. It's very
Okay.
heavily Polish. There's not
Right.
there's not a single person I've ever met that's gotten it right. So I was like Bartosz or something
Right.
like that.
Because how is it spelled?
It's Bartosz.
So it's just Bartosz.
Yeah.
SC is just kind of like an S in our American whatever. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys have obviously seen a few episodes now. You know what the flow is and how we get going. I don't think you guys need a whole lot of loosening up. I saw you downstairs earlier having some food.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
we were buzzing it, getting everything going
But
for this.
I'm still going to ask you these same questions. You know, the burning topics. Everybody wants to know, like, what's your favorite color?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite color has been the same for the past like 21 years of my life. Always been orange. Can't go wrong with it.
Really?
I don't know. It's just such a vibrant color, and like I know like everyone thinks like the sun's yellow and it like lets out yellow stuff, but it's always been orange to me.
That's interesting. I've heard, crimson and blue all over the place. Like turquoise has come up a couple times. That's surprising me. Not orange yet. That's the first
I
one.
know. We need to talk to the Johnny's people, the rugby guys, get some more orange in here.
Right? We can do that. What's your favorite food?
Mine would have to be I really like going to Cold Stone. I like the cookies and cream with some chocolate chips and some Oreos in it.
So
Can't
you
go
just
wrong with
ice cream junkie in general, or is it specifically Cold Stone?
No, it's got it because like I can go to Dillon's, I can go to any store and get ice cream,
right?
Or I can go like to another ice cream place like Silas and Maddie's,
Sure.
but they just don't have the same combination that Cold Stone's got.
Cold Stone's it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily a specific food, but I really like Italian food.
Really?
In general.
Just pasta or like even more specific?
Lasagna, pizza, even though pizza is like more American.
Sure.
But like comes from Italy, I like it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Favorite kind of music?
Rock.
Rock?
Alt rock.
You were talking about Bon Jovi downstairs
Oh
earlier.
yeah.
Oh,
Is it kind of that 80s hairband classic rock?
Not really. More 90s grunge into just the general umbrella of alt rock.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I would say I'm about the same place because like if I'm listening to my gym playlist or whatever, like it's got to be songs that are rocking to like get me going.
90s era also, 80s, 70s.
A little bit of some modern stuff, but I would say like usually stuff like that. Like
right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. How do you like your steaks cooked?
Medium rare.
Medium rare?
Oh, you're a weirdo. Medium well.
Medium well. I don't know who's weird here because you're the first one that hasn't said medium rare.
Me?
Yeah.
Who said medium rare? All the other guys?
Trevor, Link, Dehoy, Mason.
Isn't Trevor the guy that lies about what he likes for music too? You can't
right
listen to those.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. He's gonna have
the first person that says well done, kick him out immediately.
Yeah, I've not heard that yet. Definitely not heard well done yet. What's your favorite place to travel? Or where would you like to go?
For me, I would say my favorite place is when I used to go like travel around with my mom was always Aruba. We loved it down there, especially the beaches. There's this one place that I don't know why we liked it, but it was right next to the airport.
Okay.
So if it's really hot and the planes are taking off, the plane like jets would just blow air on the beach.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
the sand's flying everywhere. You get like a nice cool breeze.
Huh.
We really liked it.
That's pretty awesome, actually. Aruba.
Yeah.
Are you a beach guy too?
No, of the places I've been, Colorado. We go regularly. I ski. I really like skiing. If I lived in Colorado, I'd ski a lot more, but I live in Kansas, so I don't ski.
Not a lot of skiing around here.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I was born in like Overland Park, raised in Leavenworth. I went to high school north of the river, 10 minutes from the airport in Missouri.
Okay.
So, Kansas City.
Yeah, the metro area.
Metro area all over. It's like where my friend recently here.
And so, what high school did you graduate?
Park Hill South.
Park Hill.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. AB, where are you from?
I was born in Oak Lawn, which is a suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
And then when I was like 9, 10, somewhere around that, give or take, I moved to the city. And then I moved down to Lawrence my freshman year back in 2019.
Of high school?
Mm-hmm.
Freshman year of high school?
No. My freshman year.
So you're a college guy, or a college guy, a Chicago guy originally. What brought you out to Kansas then?
So I have a couple buddies that went down here for my high school that decided to come down here. They like the sports and everything.
Right.
And I mean, that's really what drawn me down here was like getting to know like different people and all that. Because I definitely didn't want to stay in the city because like it's gonna sound a little tacky maybe, but like in the city of Chicago, like you see the news, you like know about all like the violence that's down there. And I just grew up getting used to like going to sleep with police sirens in the background, and now here it's just like peace at night.
Yeah, it's a little different scene here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have friends from New York when we would come out here. People get claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the reverse thing for them because it's so wide open. You drive on the highway at night and you don't see, any lights, any people, anything like that. I get that idea. It's very different. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs?
And cats, but dogs.
Dogs.
I'm a big dog guy. I mean, I got my own dog here too.
I
gotta be a dog guy.
I got a dog too, so yeah.
Lots of people have pets here. It's kind of surprising. I'm not used to thinking of, people in school having dogs or cats.
Yeah, actually, like my freshman year, a lot of people that I knew were talking about getting animals and all that. But it's just the problems like everyone's in the dorms or like didn't want to like live with people that weren't cool with it. But especially whenever you get to like your junior and senior year, a lot more people have the idea in their mind to like live on their own and all that.
Sure.
Because especially with one of my buddies he started living on his own too. So he decided to get an animal that he wants to keep around and all that. Right. So I think just like the older you get, obviously you branch out.
So what year in school are you?
I'm a senior.
And what are you studying?
I'm a business administration.
Okay. Right on.
Sophomore, second year, accounting.
Accounting?
Yeah.
So business kind of side of things too. They're not the same, obviously.
No.
But it's more towards the business side than, say, psychology or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something super different like that.
A lot more same than different.
So what made you guys decide you want to do this? Just because it's a practical degree that you can do a lot of stuff with, or do you have a specific goal of what's next? You probably ask yourself this a lot right now, being a senior. And...
Oh, I thought about this a lot, actually, because whenever people ask me that question, I usually answer it the same. Because whenever I was in high school and like the years before that, I was a little overweight.
Okay.
So ever since I came to KU, and especially during my like junior and senior year of high school, I got really big into like the fitness aspect of everything and getting more into shape. So I've been talking to like people I know, and I decided that like when I graduate, a big thing I want to do is like get in the fitness world and like grow from there in an aspect where it's like more managerial. And my end goal is like I want to open up my own line of gyms.
Oh, cool.
And something like that. But I just need to figure out like names and all that kind of stuff or what I want to do.
Awesome. Very cool. Why accounting?
It was general, but also I felt that it had the most growth of anything I could choose. Apparently, it's also fairly recession-proof, unlike finance.
Right. That one could, yeah.
That seems to be working in my favor.
It's not a bad call for sure.
No.
What's your favorite curse word? That's the big one.
Oh, I remember you asked D-Hoy and Eno this. I saw this one. What did Eno say? Motherfucker or something like that? One of them said.
I think that's right. Yeah. I'm trying to remember because I've heard lots of different ones. A lot of people are trying to get around this by not saying what their own favorite word to say is. But I love it when Andy says that. Or I love it when Tom says this.
Yeah.
I would never swear, of course, but when I hear somebody else say this word, that's my favorite. So you guys going to take that route too and say,
no.
I think I just default to just say fuck this.
Sure.
Just fuck that. Just fucking shit.
It's versatile.
Oh yeah, you kind of have to pick and choose other words like when you use it. Like
Right.
you can't just. You sound like. Apparently, like damn is a Southern thing. No, oh god damn it, god darn it, or
Yeah,
whatever.
you gotta have that
It
drawl.
just-
Yeah,
It's like,
gum.
god damn, yeah. I'm like, you just can't use it all the time, or else you sound Southern, or you put on an accent.
Right.
I'm like,
Oh.
you just say fuck.
Right.
I agree so much with that because like if I'm gonna use a swear word, it's gotta be like situational.
Oh, sure.
Because like if I ever like stub my toe or I hurt myself in some way, I'll go like motherfucker.
Right.
Or if someone's just being like a dick or something, I'll call them a dick or a bitch or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have that broad vocabulary that can fit different situations. You can
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but in a split second of anger or whatever, I'm
Sure.
just like, fuck.
F-bombs. Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
End of the day, all of them are our favorite.
yeah. I like a good fuck off.
Right. That's a classic one.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get into rugby then? Did you play in high school? Was it something that you just picked up after coming to KU? Where did your rugby story start?
I guess I can start with this. My so I literally never played rugby before when I came to KU.
Okay.
My really only experience with watching the sport was my
Okay.
high school had it, and I knew a lot of the guys from the team, so I'd go out to some of their games or whatever. And whenever KU had, I don't remember what it's called at the beginning of the year. It's like the sports fair. It's where all the clubs meet, anyways. At the
During
rec.
Hawk Week.
Yeah, yeah.
They call it Rock the Wreck or something like that.
That
Is what they're
sounds
calling
right.
it now. Anyway, yeah, I saw an email about that recently.
So I was going around there and I didn't know what to do, and I was just signing up for some stuff. And then whenever I got to the rugby table, I remember it was Scott Merdinger, our former president of the team, and then I think Reed was there too.
Okay.
And I was talking to Scott for a while there, and he talked to me how he's from New Trier and all that. So I was like, oh, Chicago boys got to stick together.
Right.
So I showed up to my first rugby practice because I lived at Downs Hall. It was at that field right next to it,
Yeah.
so it wasn't hard for me to get there.
Right.
So I went there a couple times. I loved it. All the boys, because I know a lot of the guys like to consider rugby as like their own fraternity. It's
Sure.
like a brotherhood in a lot of different ways. Like you guys that are on the team, you go out with, you party with,
Mm-hmm.
you do whatever with. And we just kept doing that. And it was a great way to make new connections
Right.
and all that while having fun, like living the college experience. That's why I stayed around. And I loved it. And we've only grown from there.
Because you were always a sports guy. It sounds like that's what your
Mhm.
interest is when you're talking about, fitness clubs and.
Yeah, because in high school, I started off playing football, and then I did a little basketball, and then I ended with volleyball.
Okay.
And then here at KU, I've just stuck with rugby.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So did you get to play rugby in high school, or?
I didn't get to play rugby until I came to KU, but I played football my whole life up until halfway through high school.
Mhm.
And when we have family friends who are in England, and they'd come back from England and go, "You should play rugby. Why don't you play rugby?" Not understanding that it's not really a thing. I didn't.
Right.
No school, no area where I grew up had rugby. My high school didn't have rugby. They just had football and the more traditional American sports. So I always wanted to play because I was always told that I would be good at rugby.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, I need to do something. Last year was my first year at KU. Freshman coming in, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I spent, a couple weeks just doing nothing, getting situated in the whole like living away from home, living in the dorm.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm going stir crazy. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. And I'm like, okay, let's look through. Oh, rugby. Let's do that.
Awesome. That's very cool. So just on your own,
Yep.
looked up, walked on,
Yeah.
didn't know anybody on the team or anything.
Didn't know anyone. Didn't know how to play.
Right.
I literally looked up online, saw Facebook or website the schedule, saw that there was a game, went to a game, immediately was emailed coach, and
Uh-huh.
it was like, oh hey, went to the game, sounds fun. They're like, yeah, we practiced this times, and it was like, yeah, it just came out.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
It's like, okay, yeah.
So, what is it that you like the most about playing rugby
Hitting
then?
people,
Hitting people?
getting
The
hit.
actual physical side of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only athletic thing I'm good at.
You can't shoot a basketball or throw a baseball,
Not
football.
good.
Not well, yeah. Fair enough.
After trial and error and years, I managed to do those things.
Right.
But I didn't take to most sports I played athletically or naturally, except for the hitting parts of football. And then growing up, I tried to implement hitting into other sports, which doesn't work.
Yeah, except for like boxing, football, it's pretty.
Yeah, and people get kind of mad when you hit them in basketball. It's really just. I'm like, have you seen the '90s Bulls and the Pistons? Like, come on.
That's true. Those were some pretty aggressive players there.
Yeah, I was like,
oh, that's funny.
So, is it the fraternity brotherhood for you, AB?
Yeah, that's definitely it. Because like when you think about it, like wherever we travel, especially in Oklahoma had this big. Because I remember that was the game that I got my concussion at, and all of us traveled to one of the Oklahoma houses and all that, and they did the same exact things that we did here. So it's like thinking like rugby is like this big idea up here, and we're all taught just this thing to do, and we do it all over the place.
Right.
So it's awesome because like you think about like a home away from home.
Sure.
Because like you have all the guys here, but like if one of us, like especially when you talk about like Jackson Schimmel, he came from Arkansas. I think it was.
That's right.
Yeah, it came from Arkansas, and things they did here transferred over here, and he's fit in very well. You think about stuff like that.
So how do you think that applies for new guys coming up? Both of you, well, you were brand new this last year.
I was a new guy.
You were new a few years ago now, but it was the same kind of story, not knowing anybody and just kind of, making your own path on here. How do you include these new guys into this kind of...
I think you have to make everyone realize that we want you to be here. We want to be friends with you. We want you to be brothers. We don't care how good you are on the pitch as long as you're trying, putting an effort, and not causing problems, you know. But that's few and far between. So we just want everyone to come out, play, and then come out and play after, you know? Right. And we just have to make that maybe verbal and just be like, hey, yeah, man, come on, we all want you. There's not like, I want you here. Everyone wants you here.
Yeah. That is one of the cool things I've noticed about this club in particular, Everybody gets along really well. I don't know any kind of little petty bullshit things. If there are, it's just like a one-off, Somebody's in a bad mood that day, but you get over it real quick. Of course, some people are better friends with some than others, but everybody gets along.
If you know a guy from high school, you're going to be better friends with them than the guy you just
met.
Sure,
of course. So how do you bring that in with the new guys coming up?
That's the really cool thing, I think, about this club and the other clubs that we mentioned, like Oklahoma and Arkansas and all that. But especially here, like on Thursdays, especially everyone meets here and we come to Johnny's. We have our rugby houses. The main one right now, I think we're getting rid of the other one. The 14th Street house. Yeah. We have both levels of that now. So I think
it's going to be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lethal house.
Is it Josh Karlstadt in the bottom?
No, it's Mason Fowler, and his cousin is living down there. He's moving from upstairs.
Right.
And all the old guys are staying there with Trevor moving in to replace Mason.
Okay, yeah.
So that's usually where everyone meets up at, because in our rugby group chats or whatever, whenever we see that something's going down, especially because that location's so good. It's 2-minute walk away from Mastery to all the main places, and then a 2-minute walk to like all the main bars like the Triangle, Hawk Bowl, Wheel, and all that. Not a bad walk from campus. So even like you need a place just to chill out or hang out, I know their doors are literally always open. Probably shouldn't say this on a public podcast, but yeah, the door's always open.
Well, they don't know the address. We won't give that away, but yeah.
We said the street it's on.
Yeah, the 14th Street. That's a long ways, but now we know it's 2 blocks away from the Triangle.
Yeah.
Someone smart can be watching this, do the math to figure out where it is.
Yeah, you can figure out where it is pretty easily.
Yeah. Not too worried.
No, it's all good.
Not yet.
So is that what you're looking forward to most this coming year? Is for you hitting people, I guess. But, the actual physical playing the sport, and then also the social side of it,
Yeah, because I think you can't have one really without the other. Because especially, like, you're going to be hitting people, especially during practices, we're going to be hitting each other, but you need to remember that we're hitting each other with love.
Right.
Yeah. And you got to make sure everyone's safe.
But you see that in between the two teams also, not just, within our, practices and within the KU club, but whoever we're playing, we all get together and we hang out afterwards, socialize, usually have some food or something like that, and everybody seems to get along really well.
Oh yeah.
You hit a guy or get hit after the game, you go, hey man, that was great. You're phenomenal.
Right.
Whatever. You know, there's definitely been a couple times where I've just had to either lay into a guy way bigger than me, and it doesn't seem to scratch them, but they go, "Hey, good hit, guy."
Sure, I noticed that one. That was pretty good. I usually don't notice when guys.
Right.
But,
You know, and then it's like 6'4", 300, and I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay, that makes me feel a little good.
Feels good. It's gonna hurt my neck tomorrow, but
Oh man,
there have definitely been some hits like that. I was just thinking about, I guess, post match, the teams award a man of the match to the opposing team.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's really cool too.
Oh yeah.
You know, on TV, somebody somewhere says, "Oh, this is the VIP player of the game," whatever else.
Right. It's all like stats or bullshit.
Right. But to actually have a team come up and say, "We think that whoever was playing number 10 on your team was the best player on your team today."
That's especially huge because it's not always about making like the biggest play, but especially like during your conduct during the game too. Because it's definitely different for the forwards and the backs. Because I'm a forward, I play flanker, so I usually am able to talk and mess around with the other forwards during the game, so it's easier. Especially when we're scrumming down, we'll give a little bit of some shit talk.
What's the best conversation you've had during a match?
Oh my god, this is gonna look a little weird to say on the podcast, but there's a time I got tackled and there's someone that's laying over me and they decided to just like go pop on my nuts and they're saying, "Nice tack, man." I was like, oh god.
It's a little love tap, you know.
A little love tap, yeah.
You ever have any good interactions, conversations?
Nothing
like that necessarily.
No, just good scrum stuff. You know, if Sir asks us to get a little closer, we're like, well, we don't bite. You know, those sort of just bants. You know,
wink. Yeah, I get that one. So you mentioned traveling. One of your favorite places to travel, Colorado.
Yeah.
And that is the first road trip of the season coming up August 27th here.
I've never been to Boulder, so
really,
yeah.
Where do you usually go? That area west of Denver for all the skiing, hiking, hill stuff, or?
So my grandparents own a house in the mountains in like a bumfuck county, just like right next to a small ski resort that no one's heard of.
Okay.
So it's just a place that we go to. You know, it's like 12-hour drive. Like the closest town is not town. Notable city is Colorado Springs, 3 hours away.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so it's just
that's a real awesome escape place then to get away and
you can just go and it's a nice in the summer and the winter. It's a nice, not necessarily touristy, but it's nice for vacation stuff because there's the Arkansas River right in the valley, and we're up in the mountains. There's hot springs. There's the ski resort. It's a nice place to go, but
I can see why you want to go there.
So and it's because we go for free. We just have to get ourselves there.
Sure.
So it's really just nice. We don't go to any bigger cities usually.
Right. So never been to Boulder.
No.
Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
In what way? Just the road trip, getting out and being in a different town, or the competition during the match? Or?
I would say it's a good mix of everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially because I got some friends down there too that I plan. I don't know how long we're going to be down there. I told them we're going to be coming down. I want to see them and have them come out with us for a little bit. So I'm really hoping we can get something down there and figure out.
Yeah,
everything.
I think it's like a overnight Friday, Saturday. I'm not sure if we're trying to come back Saturday afternoon or not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the specific details.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it many a time, but it's still long.
It's further than Dallas, I think, isn't it? Or about
I think it's about 8 hours.
Oh, is that all?
Because I know it's the same distance pretty much from Chicago to here.
Okay.
But just the other way.
Mountains kind of screw things up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make things longer.
Are there any matches that you're looking forward to this coming season? I mean, we're playing kind of a different schedule since we're doing Mizzou, K-State, and Arkansas twice during our conference schedule. Once home, once away, as opposed to getting to play some of the northern part of American teams.
Our second game's, is it Iowa or Indiana?
Indiana's coming.
Indiana's my rivalry since my freshman year.
Sure.
Because I don't know the kid's name, but he was a freshman that we came there. They're number 11 my freshman year. He broke my ankle when he first played. So
like, not intentionally.
No.
He didn't like pick you up and wrench your leg
or something. No, but he gave me a really good hit where I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
and it snapped my ankle in half. So ever since then, that's just been my big competition game.
Right. It's not because you're from Illinois and Indiana's next door or anything.
No, just all friendly love.
Right. Fair enough.
And a little bit of rugby.
You thinking anything about playing those two varsity teams for the first 2 matches of the year? They're D1, it's a varsity sport at those schools.
Just more fun competition.
Yeah.
It should be good experience, if anything.
Yeah.
Play a little faster game.
Yeah, definitely true. No, it will be a good one.
Yeah, because if that's our first 2 games, we'll go into our other games and go, well, what is this? This is a different game.
Well, I'm sure Mizzou and Arkansas and K-State are going to show up.
They'll show up.
We're probably going to want to try and get a little bit of revenge on us
Of
for all
course.
the whoopings we've given them the last couple of years.
But you know what? We're just going to have to get better year over year.
Now, speaking of getting better, we were talking before this about the podcast.
Oh yeah.
And ideas that you had to make this get better.
Okay, so we've been putting a lot of thought into this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So our big idea, podcast viewers, to just have a giant hot tub stream. So one of our ideas was we get all the coaches together, like 4 or 5 of them. And I thought about this while we were here a little bit. It's like we have like the Friends theme song. We do a little like play-by-play of each of them have their own video.
Yeah.
Like Rick's in a snorkel outfit rising out of the water. You have Billy, like, how girls take like those sexy pictures on the beach. You have Billy and Doug's taking the pictures and Billy's just going like something like that on the water. Oh, and then you have like Matt Schwartz do a cannonball in, like something like awesome like that.
Oh yeah, man.
So hot tubs are the key thing.
So I'll put a lot of effort in this if we can get this going. So I know Rick has a hot tub, I'm pretty sure.
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, Rick has a hot tub. So Rick, if you're watching this, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let us know if that's something you want to see. All of us old guys in, I don't know, swimsuits or bikini tops or whatever it is.
Oh,
posing.
and then just for the fun of it, we have all the older guys in, and then we just throw Trevor in there.
Right. That'd be pretty
That'd be a
good.
great thumbnail.
It's all in love.
Oh, it'd be amazing to watch that.
Oh yeah.
So, what kind of challenges are you expecting to see this next year then?
Oh, 100% with the guys that we're losing and the guys that are going to step up to fill those places.
Sure.
Because I know we have a couple guys that are doing 5th year stuff. Like I know D. Hoy is for sure.
Right.
I'm not too sure what Reed's doing.
He'll be around. I think he's going to do
That
club
semester,
stuff
right?
still. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we lost Chandler, of course, our
Right.
previous captain. So it's just going to be really interesting seeing the guys that are going to be fighting for those spots and just making sure that they keep them and the team is the same or hopefully better than we were before.
Yeah. Well, I know that we got some really good guys, of course, sticking around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're moving up. And then we have some really good guys who've committed to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For rugby, and then of course, guys like you who maybe don't even know the sport, they're going to come out and show up to try and, build the bench and continue the legacy or however you want to call it.
The deeper the bench goes, the better the team is overall.
Sure. Absolutely. It's not a whole lot of clubs that can say they have, 40, 50 guys that regularly show up for practice.
There's not a lot of guys that they can say they joined a club that have a legacy like this. Like, look around this room that we're in, all the jerseys, the pictures, and especially the trophy room. We should give a shout out.
Second practice, was a Thursday practice. I show up here, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is crazy. I'm going to stick around. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
But this is the legacies.
I know a lot of other club teams around here. Like, I have friends that are like on rowing, hockey, and all of that, and they don't have anything that's remotely close to like this. So it really is a good honor and a privilege to be a part of this and continue to grow it, so the people that come after us know just how important this is.
So one of the things that's popping up, the time this airs, it's going to be about a week before August 15th when practice starts up. You guys doing anything over the summer to prepare for that, or lifting, running, doing drills?
Staying outside. I work outside 8 hours a day.
What are you doing right now over the summer?
So I work for the school district that I graduated from.
Okay.
And so they hire 2 guys on to wash all their industrial air conditioning units, the condenser coils where the air goes through to make the air cold. And if it gets clogged with dirt and dust or whatever, it doesn't work, so you have to clean it. We get a power washer. We have like a hot seat trailer with a 500-gallon like tub of water.
Right.
Just
out there working on roofs, power washing and shit all day.
25 buildings with maybe 20 to 50 industrial air conditioning units on it. So, it takes all summer, and we still have to do it twice because air conditioners are running so much during the year, and they just get dirty again. So I'm just staying outside, and so the sun doesn't bother me anymore.
See, it's like the old 80s sports movie video montage where you got the one guy that's working out in this awesome gym, and you got the other guy that's just, out doing blue-collar, heavy hard work.
I wake up at 5:30, so there's not enough juice left in me by the time I get home to do anything else.
Right. Yeah.
It's just
done.
Zombie. I take a shower, call into bed, and wake up for dinner, and then go back to bed.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But it's fun. It's good money. It's literally just me and my partner up on the roof, so there's no supervision.
Right.
So
You like the guy you're working with?
Yeah.
That's going to make all the difference.
He goes to Missouri, so.
Okay, fair enough. As good as you can for somebody from Missouri.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The school's in Missouri, so I'm the odd one.
Right. You found religion and came back to Kansas. And
I've always been a Kansas boy.
Yeah. Are you working over the summer?
No, I haven't done any main work. I decided to dedicate this summer to really trying to get into better shape and all that. Especially.
So you're the other guy in the video montage.
I know.
You're working out in the gyms and.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right with that. Because my schedule right now is set up that I'll go to sleep at midnight, 1 a.m. I'll wake up, and I didn't start doing this again this summer because I started to cut recently. But now I'm doing I go to LHS a little bit because I know Chandler's getting a lot of guys out there. I don't go when they go because that just goes in the middle of my schedule when I'm doing all my stuff.
Right.
So I'll go a little bit before them and I'll run a couple miles, usually around 3.
Okay.
And then I'll go to Crunch and I'll get whatever lift in I have for the day. And this summer has just been a really big push for me because when I started off this summer, I was at about 160 pounds, and now I'm sitting at about 193, 94, something
it's
like that.
It's not just Cheetos and M&Ms.
No.
It's actual weight, yeah.
No, I'll, money, because usually just to get fast cash, I'll use just DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that. And then I'll go down to Dillon's, I'll get all my food, and that's just usually my weekly stuff.
Right.
All done in a way. So it's been a big grind, and I know a lot of people are doing that, especially with the LHS stuff Chandler and them are going, and I know some of the guys like DeHoy and Reed, they're actually personal trainers at Summit now.
Yeah, nice. I heard that. They were saying they're getting paid to work out because they can work out during their shift and do a set and then go help somebody and then go do something.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting. The relationship the club has with certain gyms should definitely be looked into.
Yeah,
especially at Crunch too, because that's where Crunch let us during the season and the championship stuff. We used to go there and they do stretches or yoga. Right. That's what it was. Yoga sessions there.
Like during the playoffs, that when you had a Saturday, Sunday back-to-back matches, doing that Saturday evening to kind of loosen up and help work out some of the things before.
I know KU Powerlifting Club, they get a discount on their membership to Summit on Mass or whatever by being a part of the club.
That's
so
cool.
That's something maybe we should think about.
Is it something we should focus on? Because we do a lot of the aerobic conditioning, the running, the sprints, the distance stuff.
Because it's an ability to get weights in.
I think it varies between because obviously everybody wants to get bigger, better, stronger, and in whatever kind of shape that they want and they ideal for themselves. But I think a lot of guys just need to really focus on what they can realistically achieve, because a lot of guys just shoot too far for the moon and they don't educate themselves as much as they should right away, and then they end up being more detrimental than actually good for themselves.
Right.
So I think just making sure that people, because we have so many resources. Especially the one that's most underutilized, especially Josh, our trainer, because especially if we're injured or you want general advice, he's always there. I've gotten him a couple times for when it comes to stuff. And then we have guys like D. Hoy, Rito, and then Andrew Schmidt's still around, and he's a very good guy, very big TikToker now.
Right.
So
I know that we're looking at having somebody come out during that preseason workout week to do stuff and maybe help us to be a resource. And I know that D. Hoy is specifically said that's one way he wants to help out. Since he's focusing on his powerlifting more this fall, but still wants to be around and involved in everything else. That might be
that makes a lot of sense.
Something that we can figure out.
Because what we used to do that I haven't seen in a good bit, or we haven't done it as actively as we used to, is I think the only person that can get access to this is the president. So it'd have to be Wyatt. Is that we used to have access to the like secret gym underneath the rec.
Right.
And we used to do that all the time, a couple times a week. We go down there, but I haven't seen that around too much. But it's definitely been tougher, like just coming out of COVID and all that. So I definitely like to see something like that more.
So thinking about, you mentioned Wyatt, who's the club president, not the university president or Joe Biden, U.S. president, but we have an executive committee made up of a lot of different groups of guys focusing on different things. You're on the executive committee working with
Matt Schwartz, equipment manager is my thing. So we're equipment, just inventory of what the club owns, and keeping it nice.
And you are not a member of the executive committee right now.
No, I am not.
Do you guys realize that we're going to be asking everybody to join a committee? Sure, they're going to be led by people like Henry, but you know, it takes a village sometimes. A group of people, the many hands make light work.
Me and Henry touched on this because I had no idea about this, and I asked him about it because we were talking about especially recruitment. Because I think that's one of our bigger things. Because I think Caleb's doing a good job as it is, but I just don't think that it should be just up to one person to be in charge of the whole next generation of the club. So that was my biggest thing. But if we're doing something like that, that's something that I definitely want to hear more about, and I'll show up because I think anyone can show up to the meetings.
Absolutely.
So,
they're open. We've paired up student athletes with old guys. Like you're working with Matt Schwartz on doing some of the equipment stuff. I'm working with Mason Enos on kind of business secretary stuff. Caleb's working with somebody named Matt O'Donnell. I don't know if you're familiar with him on the recruiting stuff. So we're trying to figure out a balance between not having you guys do everything, especially if it's just one of you dealing with all the equipment stuff. And then not all of us old guys having to do everything, but finding that nice balance so where you guys can take some ownership and do some stuff. And
I think it allows for turnover in either position of mentor or student athlete.
Right. If you're building up. So you're a sophomore this fall. And you're a senior this fall, you know, passing the reins on to somebody else. So when he's a senior, whoever's a senior in high school this year, they'll be a sophomore in a couple of years. You can keep that working on.
I would say especially as a senior, from the things that I've seen, the biggest piece of advice I would say is that you get out what you put into it, especially. So like just because you have this one specific role, like this title or whatever, like obviously you do that job, but make sure that if you can, you help out wherever else that you can. Because especially some people get overloaded, and let's say you're out and you meet somebody that seems athletic, they seem partially interested. You say, hey, if you want, here's my contact information. Feel free to come out if you want to, you're interested to. Or anything else when it's like, if they don't want to come out to our practice, come out to Johnny's so they can meet more of the guys if they want to feel more interested to join, like socially, and then the other aspects of it. Because everything needs to be working well together for it to move forward.
So is there room for a guy to just, you know, come out Tuesday, Thursdays, maybe Saturdays, put on the cleats, have fun? Or do they need to step up and, you know, be involved
in something? Not everyone. If we have 50 people putting their heart and soul, there's just not enough space.
We'd find space, I'm
but
sure.
We would, but I think it'd get, as it is,
if
everyone was trying to vie for our current positions and everything, it'd just be like, well, there's maybe not enough for everyone to do. And a lot of people, that's not going to be realistic. And we'll never be in that situation. But I think the point of working hard for the club is to allow for people to not work hard for the club in that sort of way, so we can allow people to just kind of have fun, whereas there's a select group of people who are maybe putting in a little bit more time and effort because they want to and they think it's a good thing for them, not out of a weird sense of obligation or something.
Right on.
I think you bring up a lot of good points about that, because we have had some situations in the past where obviously school needs to come first before a lot of different things. So the good thing is that there's 15 guys on the pitch, and then we have 8 extra guys, 23-man roster per game. And each guy that's from the club side that shows up every day, puts the effort in, goes to the gym, does whatever to make themselves better in whatever aspect that they want, they're ready to step up. So even though that on paper we have those 23 guys, we really have 50 plus guys that are ready to show up, be ready, and replace that if anything does happen. And that's like the great thing, because like we were saying before, if there's a guy that just wants to show up Tuesdays, Thursdays, maybe not play, but they have the mindset that they want to just get better and improve themselves and make some new friends or whatever, they're more than welcome to do that.
Right.
There's not a single guy on the team that's going to say, get the fuck out of here, get out of just whatever, you just aren't welcome here. Because at the end of the day, what's most important, like we talked about, is obviously playing the game, but also having that brotherhood, that strong foundation. Because especially like we talked about way earlier in the podcast, we haven't really seen like a club that's as close-knit and tight as we were. And we're not going to start by pushing people out that want to learn, are just starting to reach the potential that they can be.
Now, I'm going to kind of not twist, but approach what you just mentioned from a different angle about being inclusive of all people. But then you've also used like the words like fraternity or brotherhood. What about women's rugby? There's been some discussion. We have women's rugby in Lawrence, and it's kind of loosely associated with KU. There's more of a community team that doesn't have a whole lot of campus presence. Is there room in this for women to join, or for the women's and the men's sides here in town to work together? Or
I don't see why not. Because I think I actually followed their rugby page a little bit ago. And I think their practices are Mondays or Wednesdays. I think it's something like that. South Park. I don't see why not. It just needs to be up to both sides be willing to talk and figure something out. Right. Not that it's like a rivalry or anything. No. I'm not saying it like that.
But we're two independent things. Yeah. And anytime you bring two different groups together, you got to figure out.
Ease our way into the relationship. Maybe, but I think reaching out would be great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not saying like we play a game against each other for dominance over KU rugby.
No, but you'd have like there are a lot of different drills and resources that could be shared together.
It'd be nice if I
probably not scrum men versus women.
No, but if I met a girl who just randomly was like, oh hey, I played rugby in high school or whatever, and it'd be cool to be able to point a woman to, KU's women's rugby. Whereas, like, now I just don't have that contact. I can't really... I could be like, it exists, but that's all I have.
Right. If, and this is totally hypothetical, there was kind of this merging that came together between men's and women's side where we're sharing resources, including coaches. Do you think any of the guys would have an issue, or would it be awkward having a female coach? I mean, we have female refs in a lot of our matches, or in some of our matches, maybe not a lot, to be fair.
I wouldn't say that it would necessarily be awkward if we had a female coach. I think it would just be necessarily awkward if it was just a coach in general that we didn't like.
Sure.
Because, like, all the coaches and staff that we have right now, we love. We got to know them and everything. But bringing someone in that we might not like or anything, like, they're more than welcome to come so we can get to know them. It's just...
I think that's fair to say that would be the case regardless of gender. You know, if anybody comes in and they're a jerk, then
and it would be kind of like stepping on eggshells, kind of, if not only is the coach that we don't like that's new coming in, but it's also the second layer of, it's a woman's coach, so where are we splitting the hairs here? Where's the thing? And you just kind of have to think about that and approach that a little more pragmatically, but on the base level is kind of confusing. It's nuanced.
Yeah, but generally no problem if it's a guy or a girl.
No, if
It's as
play
long as
better-
they're cool and they know what they're talking about, and
As long as
Yeah.
they're just bringing stuff to the club, like
Yeah.
we're
Right.
doing likewise. I just don't like. I think obviously they would say the same thing. As long as like one side's not carrying the other, just for like
sure.
Yeah.
elevation, publicity, and all
Yeah.
that. That's obviously a big thing
Yeah,
for me.
I'd talk to a dog if it made me better.
Right.
Like I don't care. Like we bring in, we have the foreign exchange students that come in, and maybe they're here for a semester. They have years of experience on everyone
Right.
else.
They grew up playing it. Like you were saying, you'd heard about it for years growing up, but never
Right.
got to actually.
Right. Like Tom Richards came in
Sure.
and was a great resource
Uh-huh.
for everyone. Taught me a ton about the game.
Right.
Like those sort of players, you just have to be open-minded enough to listen to anybody and everybody. Even players, it's like, oh yeah, I've been in the part of the club longer. This guy just showed up and is telling you what to do. Well, this guy's playing rugby. You can't be like that.
Right. Yeah. That is another nice resource. Having guys like Tom Richard or Fraser Brand or
Oh yeah.
German Mike or James or whoever. That's
Yeah.
another podcast we want to do, by the way. Try to
Dude.
get all of them on a Zoom, and we'll have
Oh, that'd be funny.
subtitles so everybody can understand what they're all saying. But
I try to make them get on the thickest of accents.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of conversation about that because, as you guys know, the USA is hosting the World Cup in 2031.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then they're also hosting the Women's World Cup in 2033.
Oh, is that confirmed that we're hosting
Yeah.
in 2033?
So World Rugby has started pairing up men's and women's will go to the same country starting in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Australia gets it in 27 and 29, and then we get it in 31 and 33. So, of course, rugby being what it is in the United States, first of all, how do we grow it in 9 years before the men's tournament? But then how do we elevate women's rugby as well in the next 11 years along the same lines?
MLR is a great.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching that, supporting that,
Yeah,
just talking to friends and family.
right.
I started playing rugby, and my grandfather said, "Oh, I watched a rugby game on whatever on cable." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I tried to talk to him about what he didn't understand and that sort of thing.
Right.
But having my friends and family come out to actually watch in person is a great experience,
Yeah.
especially at Westwick.
Oh,
It's a
dude, it's so
phenomenal
funny.
venue.
It's so awesome.
It's no matter how we could have 5 people and it'd still be great.
Right. But we don't have just 5 people,
No.
thankfully.
No, we
most of
have
the
a
time.
lot of fans.
I know that's
Yeah.
one thing that a lot of the older guys are not concerned about, but mindful of. How do we make the fan experience
Yeah.
at
A
Westwood?
podcast.
Maybe that would help. Can't do a podcast live before a match or something, but
Yeah. but
booth
this
sales,
is-
cookouts, grills.
This is a great thing for fan experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to know you guys and what's going on, and not just.
Yeah.
I know one guy on the team because I'm related to him, or he's somebody that lives
Right.
in my hall, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But trying to branch out. Griff's doing awesome work too, of course.
Yeah,
on
my
social
mom will
media.
talk to me about things she saw on the Facebook
Oh yeah,
that I did not tell her about.
the Facebook.
Well, our Facebook.
No, I
Yeah,
just,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't call. I was using the Royal.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, how'd you know that? I was like, oh, I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great, thanks.
My wife's the same way. Hey, did you see this Instagram? I don't do social media that much.
Mm.
She'll be like, oh,
There's.
you're going to be out of town on the 27th? yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
Because
it's
Griff
busted.
posted the schedule up. And,
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, every weekend she knows what I'm doing between now and November 12th, I guess, because it's all
Yeah.
online. But, yeah, it is really cool. Westwick is something we're real fortunate to have, of course. But,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're still investing in it, which is really cool.
yeah.
We're getting some new stuff for it pretty soon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're building things. At the time of recording, the concrete guys have been set. They're looking for framers to start working hopefully in September to actually put the buildings up. But
What
Yeah.
kind of buildings are we looking for? over
so there are going to be actual working flush toilets where,
there?
the playground area there on the south
Mhm.
side of the parking lot and all that, where the porta johns are now.
Mhm.
So, they're putting in actual plumbing there.
Right.
And then on the north side, where that pond is back in there, they're building what we technically have to call a shed because of zoning reasons. It's an equipment storage shed, but it's been permitted to have plumbing and electricity,
Oh.
but it's a shed.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
So
Perfect.
those are the first few things that we're trying to get,
Yeah.
and those should be done this fall.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that will be a thing where I'm gonna have to be like, oh hey, there's more space for equipment.
Right.
That's
it.
fun.
It's not just the garage by the entrance or the utility shed.
Because some of it's kind of jammed. Sometimes it's like you open it up and stuff just falls on you in the shed.
It makes it easier to get the pads out, especially whenever they ask us to get all the hitting stuff out.
Yeah,
You
it just
open
falls on you.
and they're like, "Oh, get out of the path," and then everything's just out on the ground. For
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the idea for the shed is that it's not only enough room to store some equipment, but it's also going to have some larger rooms. For,
Yeah.
You can't call them locker rooms, but it'll have larger rooms in them for,
Festivities.
Well, changing of clothes and locker room stuff, if you want to call that festivities. I guess we could
just
go
a
that
shed
way.
you can change clothes.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time about it. But yeah, Westwick's improving all the time. Hopefully people that come out and watch, even if they aren't real familiar with the sport or what's going on, have some sort of fun out there.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. But that's something else we're all ears about. What can we do to help you guys to make the experience better? What can we do to help the fans and the people who come in from out of town to support their team when they come and everything else?
A comment I've heard from the people I've invited out that it's like you drive up to Westwick and then boom, it's there. Like, because the sign is parallel to the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're like, maybe you should like angle that a little bit.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Even if it was just something on those gates when they swung open.
Yeah.
We might be due for a new sign.
Or maybe a permanent fixture.
Yeah.
If we have wherever the land property we have access to.
I'm not sure that exactly sits. That's a question for somebody above mine.
Yeah.
I know, but because there's like houses, the driveway houses, so that's something to be mindful of.
I've been to Westwick hundreds of times at this point. There'll still be times where I'll be going down that road and I'll be like, oh, wait, that's Westwick, like a mile that way.
Right, yeah. I had trouble finding it the first time I went.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I remember Big Humble, one of his first times coming out with the team.
Yes.
I look at my group me like 20 minutes into practice when we have our stuff already going. It's like, where's this at?
Right.
Have I been skipping this entire time? Like, oh.
Well, what are some of the things that we haven't gotten to talk about that you guys wanted to chat about?
I want to know, where are the odds this hot tub podcast goes down? Where are the odds?
We'll have to see what the reaction is once people see and listen to this.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Right, exactly.
I know what we're on.
Hey, how many likes do we need to get it to happen? How many likes? Give a like go.
Right. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll see that. I'm down. I'm sure
it's
Rick
so
would
funny.
be, as long as he doesn't have to do it. I'm sure he'd let us come and do it.
Maybe do it a couple times.
I'm
Try to get Rick in. Do it enough times where
sure people would watch it for like 2 seconds, freak out, and shut it off before they saw too much of what they didn't need to see.
Yeah.
But if that's it, you guys have anything else you want to chat about?
I think we've covered a lot more than expected. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys spending the time to come out and chat and be part of this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thanks. Yeah, this is great.
We'll see you all later.
Ciao.